Welcome to the Knitty Kats Podcast, episode 6. It's a stunning Colorado morning this morning, and I had a couple extra hours, so grab a cuppa and a cat, and let's get started. So welcome. I'll jump right into the things that I finished. It's been 2 episodes since we've talked about knitting. The last episode was my natural dyeing podcast where I took plants and did some dyeing. So if you missed that, check that out. And I have a lot of comments that people actually gave me advice and corrected me, and it's great. So those will be someplace in this podcast. But I want to talk about first my Shady Hollow sweater. Did I call it Shady Hollow? It is Shady Hollow. Shady Hollow sweater. And that is by, I don't remember, but Blue Sky Fiber actually put it out. And that's where I saw it on Facebook. And let me tell you who that's by. Sloan Gillum LaCase. And I saw this, I think I talked about it before, that my sister and I both saw it at the same time on Facebook. And sent it to each other, unbeknownst that we were both trying to send it to each other. She made it in the yarn that it was supposed to be made in, which was a worsted weight all cotton by Blue Sky Fiber. I think that's probably why they put it out. And I didn't want to make a worsted weight cotton sweater. Cotton I struggle with anyway, which I've talked about before, but it gets heavy and it pulls, and I didn't really want to make a heavy cotton sweater. So I wanted to make a DK weight sweater because I wanted to layer it and I wanted it to be lightweight. And I'm staring right at the sun, so I can't even see my camera. So I'm just gonna talk. But it's cool because the sun is actually allowing you to see the definition in this sweater. And it's these tiles. It was super easy. Definitely just an intermediate top-down sweater, but I wanted to layer it with a denim shirt underneath, which is exactly what I'm doing right now. And the first time I made it, I had adjusted it, the needle size, I had gone down a needle size, but really thought I could still make the same weight of, the same size pattern. I couldn't. So I had it all the way down to here. And thought, you know what, it fits, but it's a little tight. So I then ripped the whole thing out and started over, which is something that I think I'm just getting better at. If I don't enjoy it and won't wear it as I envisioned it, then I don't want to keep going. So I ripped it out and started over, still went down a needle size and up a pattern size, up a size in pattern. Not speaking correctly, but you understand what I mean. So I finished it. It turned out great. The other thing that I did is I put a split hem in the bottom. Not sure I love it with the split hem, but I do like it. So I'm just going to leave it. And I think I'd like to make another one. I don't know if I'll make another one. Do you guys do that? Do you make something and you think, I love this so much, I want to make another one? I just have so much in my queue and what I want to make that I'm not sure that I would. But it would be cool to make it in wool. I'd make it again in DK because I just like the way it's layering. So maybe if I made it in a worsted weight, I wouldn't layer it. Who knows? But it turned out great. I love it. I made it in this comfy cotton because, again, I am gravitating more towards a cotton blend for the so it doesn't stretch and it washes well. And I bought these on clearance. I bought cream, a multicolor, and this one. And it's the Lime Brand Comfy Cotton Blend, and they don't make it anymore because once I made this, I thought, oh, I really want some more of that yarn, and there is no more. They don't make it anymore. If you can find it, get it because it's great. It is a DK weight. This is really pretty. I kind of contemplated making this one also, but there's something else to make, right? So I won't make another one in the same yarn, but maybe in something in wool. My sister did it in the yarn they required, and it turned out beautiful. It was really, really pretty. But it fits her, it wouldn't fit me, and it's not what I wanted. So the next thing I finished is the 10-stitch tee. I don't know if you remember my story about the 10-stitch tee. I've wanted for a long time to make a yak something. Yak is super soft, but it is pricier than most things. Maybe not as pricey as cashmere, but it's pricey. And so at a yarn festival, the Interweave Yarn Fest in Loveland, there was a booth, and it's I don't know if I'm saying it right. Reiwa fibers. And Reiwa means hope in Tibetan, and it's Tibetan yak. So I was really excited. I was captivated by the booth. I went back over and over because I couldn't decide. She had a little t-shirt made. She called it a tee. I think it's more like a vest. And it was really cool how she'd constructed it. And I wanted to make that. It took me forever to pick the colors. In fact, when I emailed her later, when I started to make it, she's like, oh, I totally remember you. I'm like, wow, I was that irritating. Anyway, this is my 10-stitch tee. And it has a super neat construction. You're supposed to start at the bottom. It's a bottom up, and then you knit in the round, and then you go up each side, join it again in the back, go down the back. Oh, I don't know if I can move her. And then you do a Kitchener stitch, because you right here where you started going up the front, you just come back down the back and do a Kitchener stitch here and join. And I thought, oh, I just kind of wanted a really simple knit. I don't want to learn anything new. But I do like learning things new. I just don't like taking the time to learn it. But I did, and turned out super neat. I will make the pattern again, but I want to show you what's different about this one. So it calls for a bulky weight yarn, but what she did is that she held two together, and then right here she introduced a variegated yarn. So these are two solids. This is one solid, one variegated, and then she did two solids here. So it's held double all the way through if you want to do two worsteds. And I like it because how many of us have like the one skein of worsted, variegated, what are you going to do with it? This is what you can do with it. So it's a super neat pattern. The other thing that's really neat about it is that once you're done, before you put these on, you decide whether you want it on the knit side, and I'll insert a picture of it on the knit side, or if you want to do the purl side. Now, I never do the purl side, so I thought, you know what, step out a little bit, do the purl side. So I attached the sleeves and the collar, or the cuffs and the collar, as if I was going to wear it on the purl side. But honestly, I was super careful when I was attaching it, and I think it's reversible. So if you are really careful, you can do that. Now let me tell you how I made it, because I had a little bit of a challenge. Because of the price of the yarn, I really only wanted to buy one skein of variegated and then the two skeins of the solid. So 3 skeins is what I made of this, and each one has, and I have to apologize right now, it is so bright, typical Colorado sun, that I don't think I can keep my glasses on because I think it's really bright, but I can't see very well without them. Remember, I'm 60 now. So it only has 218 yarns per skein. So my challenge was to get by with 3 skeins of yarn. So I bought 1 variegated and 2 of these, and I emailed her, and she was great, by the way, and suggested that I do a provisional cast on. For those of you that are newer knitters, a provisional cast on is, don't let it intimidate you. For years I would not do a provisional cast on. And then I realized there are great benefits of a provisional cast on. And so there are a lot of YouTube videos for you to learn how to do it, but basically there are several ways to do it. You can make a crochet chain and then put live stitches into that and work your piece from there. There are several ways to do it. But anyways, she suggested that since I was really, really messing with how much yarn I would have, she suggested I do a provisional cast on and then and I think I did it right here. And then I went up, did the whole thing, came back down and joined it, and then took it off my provisional cast on and used all the rest of the variegated that I had. And I'm telling you, I did bring it down, I thought, how much I had. Literally, I probably have in total, in 3 pieces of yarn, maybe 6 inches of yarn left. I used every bit of that yak yarn. And so then I after I got back on my provisional cast on, then I did the rest of the body, and then I did the hem after that. And I did a little bit longer hem because I had the yarn. This is how much of the chestnut color I had left. And so not very much. I probably could have made it a little bit longer, but it turned out really cute. And I have to tell you, I can't even think of when I've used cashmere that I have knit with such beautiful yarn. This yarn was magnificent. Truly, it was like butter. You can't even feel it. So I strongly suggest the pattern. I'm going to insert a picture of it being on the right side so you can see what it looks like. And I can't believe that really and truly you could wear it on either side, and that's pretty cool. I did stretch it a little bit here on this, so I might redo it. But maybe not. I think if I wear dark underneath, you can't see that it's a little stretched. It was when I was attaching the collar, I didn't pick up enough stitches. So, but it's okay, and it's so warm. I'm just really happy to have it, and they are the nicest people, local business, and beautiful yarn. So that was Reiwa Fibers. Oh, you know what? This is DK. Excuse me. This is DK weight. Two strands of DK. Thought it was worsted. Well, maybe if I would have had worsted, I could have made a bigger size. Because she's teeny weeny. She made the youth small. So that's how she got away with only using this much. And I made the small. I did go up 1 needle size to try and make it a little bit bigger and utilize the yarn better. But I love it. It turned out great. I'll layer it over a top or over some sort of a dress. I think it's super cute. So those are my 2 finished objects, and I'm happy to have them. The next thing I want to show you is what I'm working on. So as if I had ripped this out, by the way, and then I had ripped this out. Well, of course I'm doing my daily pullover, and I thought I needed to make the medium, but I didn't because I put it on. Again, I got clear down to here, and it was just too big. So I don't really mind ripping out. I minded ripping this out because this linen quill, it's like thread. It's like thread to me. It seems more like lace weight. It says it's fingering. Maybe it's gonna bloom, but regardless, I ripped it out. And then I started over. So I'm kind of beyond where I ripped it out before, but oh, this is a provisional cast on, by the way, for those of you guys that don't know what it is. You can see how I made a crocheted chain, and maybe you can see it better this way. You just knit right into that crocheted chain, and then you can come back later and attach the collar. You just take this off. If you pull this from the right side, it just pulls off, and you can thread your needles right on there. So this is my daily pullover, and I wanted to make this because I really enjoy the style that Leslie Friend knits, and it's one of her favorite sweaters is a daily pullover. She did the darker charcoal in linen quill, and so I'm on my way. I'm to the point where I can watch TV and not look, and going round and round and round. And I love this. It's called Fresh Pickle is the color. One of the commenters, which you guys, I appreciate the comments. I'm telling you, I'm new. I'm a new knitter. I haven't been doing this for a long, long time. And I don't have time to perfect everything because I want to do everything. So I kind of just do a little bit of what I like. Oops, there went my note board. And I'm really happy when you guys write in and tell me what I'm doing wrong, or I have really thick skin, so you won't offend me. I appreciate the comments if you're kind and teaching me, and then I can not only correct what I may have said was wrong, but also I can teach other people that are trying to learn too. So one of the people piped in and said, so this linen quill is 50% Highland wool, 35% alpaca, and 15% linen. So I couldn't understand why it was called linen quill and why I wanted to do something that was wool, alpaca, and linen. Like, why would you do that? What is the combination? And she wrote in and said the linen probably gives it strength. So thank you. I appreciate that, because I, for the longest time, wouldn't buy it, even though it was really popular, because I didn't understand why the combination. But what it does is it gives it these really pretty flecks. Can you see the little linen flecks in there? And it's really, really soft. So I'm really excited. I think I'll use this. I think it will be pretty for work. It'll be pretty casually. You know what? I put everything. My thing is, if a denim shirt can go underneath it. But I think it would be pretty with a denim shirt. I think it would be pretty with a white collared shirt. I think it would be pretty with just a white long sleeve tee. So I'm going to wear this and enjoy it. And maybe it'll be my favorite sweater too. I did want to tell you guys also that I was a little bit worried about this, that it might be too casual. When I'm knitting, I do like to try and knit things that I can not only wear casually, but I can also wear to work. And I do have to dress a little bit more professionally. And I did wear this over a olive green dress with a collar. So it was olive green coming, and honestly, it was fine, beautiful, and jewelry, so I was good. But this will be the same thing. And I hope it blooms a little bit, because this is very thin. But it's very soft. I did get some new stitch markers. They are really cute. These little Highland cows. Scottish Highland cows. So that is one of my whips, and I'm super excited. I'm to the point I am, because I like to get to the point where you aren't counting rows anymore or doing increases. I'm just going round and round. I did put a faux seam in here, like I told you guys I like to do. See if you can see it. So here it is from the purl side. And you won't really be able to see it very well until I get it blocked, but it just adds a little bit and kind of pulls the shape together. So if you haven't tried that faux seam, then please do, because it's pretty cool. The next thing I'm working on is little hats. I was gonna kind of tease you guys, because I'm a joker, and say I'd finished 2 hats. But I'm doing these little hats. For a long time, I've wanted to do a Christmas garland out of little hats, and I had bought a kit when Craft C was still in business, and so I have all these really pretty yarns, and then it was Blueprint, but I have all these really pretty yarns to make Christmas hats with. I have a red and a coral. And I've had them for years, and I haven't made them, and I thought I'm going to do it. I'm actually making a little coral one now. I don't love double pointed needles, but I thought this is a good little knit when I am just sitting for a few minutes with my mom, and I'm having a lot of that time. Thank you so much, by the way, for writing in and well-wishing my mom. She is in hospice now, which is very, very sad for us, my sister and I, and grandkids. But my mom, she wasn't well. She's not well, and they just can't do anything else for her. But we've been able to bring her home. She wanted to go home. She said, please, I just don't want to go to a nursing home. And so we have someone living with her at night, and one of her caregivers moved in, and we're all taking shifts to just be there 24/7. And she can't speak very well, but she's hilarious still. She's just my mom. You guys, my mom is a saint. Not only was she is beautiful, she's physically beautiful and always has been, just a classic beauty, dark jet black hair, just beautiful woman. But she has a spirit and a soul that is forgiving and kind, and there wasn't anyone in our hometown growing up that didn't love my mom. So she is special, and it's been a couple weeks of just crying and crying, but now we're just enjoying her. So I do have some time sitting with her. My sister and I, we work together, as I said, so we're taking shifts between all the caregivers we have and nurses, and just being there for her. And it's a beautiful time, and she knows where she's going. She is so excited to be in the presence of Jesus that we have to celebrate that. And so we are, but I do have more knitting time than I normally would have. So that's the blessing. And it's little things, because we have to get up often and help her. So that's why the hats are going to be good. That's why I thought it's going to be good to pick those up. So I'm doing that. The other thing I'm doing is some really cool mitts. Now, I wanted to tell you a little bit about how I got interested in them. My husband is an amazing athlete, an outdoor athlete. He is someone who runs and runs. And when I say that, I mean he runs. He's an ultra mountain runner. I think that's what they're called. So he does races all over the world, and he runs 100-mile races. And it's not a relay. He actually runs 100 miles nonstop. And sometimes it takes him 18 hours straight of running. And sometimes, like he did one in the Pyrenees Mountains last summer, and it took him 21 and a half hours to finish. But he does, and he's battered and blistered, and I don't understand it. But he's good at it. He has very long legs. He's a strong athlete, and he likes it. And he's not quite 60. He'll be 60 in a couple months. So he's a couple months younger than me. And the other thing he does is a lot of more outdoor races like that. And they're adventure races where sometimes they're mountain bike riding and running and navigating. But the one I want to talk about today is called Orienteering. Now, if you're from any of the Scandinavian countries, you know exactly what Orienteering is. Orienteering is basically running through the mountains, trying to find your way with no navigation tools other than a compass and a map, a topographical map. And you try to find these checkpoints that are marked on these maps just using a compass. And it's a race. Sometimes they're long. They're 6 hours or 4 hours, and sometimes they're at night. You do it at night. Can you imagine, with a headlamp? I mean, you literally don't have a GPS or anything. You're just trying to find your way through the mountains with a topographical map and a compass. But he loves that, and they also do them in Scandinavian countries in the winter times using cross-country skis, and I imagine snowshoes as well. So they had one here in the mountains of Colorado, and of course my husband, he signed up for it, and we were up there, and I was in the lodge where the treats and the fireplace were, and a lot of Scandinavian people in the area participate in those. And so the sweaters that were coming through that lodge were stunning, and the knitted hats and just beautiful knits. And I was outside on my skis, I do cross-country ski as well, and I saw a woman who had beautiful mitts on. And they were the traditional Scandinavian mitt, and I commented on them. I said, "Wow, are you warm?" Because it was a pretty cold day. And she said, "Oh yes, we ski with these." So I'm going to put a couple pictures up of the mitts that I know you know what I'm talking about when you see them. But that was about 3 years ago, and I have not stopped thinking about those mitts. And she said they wear them all the time skiing, and I've always wanted to make a pair. My husband got me a book a couple Christmases ago called Knits from Northern Lands. And this is by Jenny Fennell, and it's 20 projects inspired by traditional knitting techniques from the Scottish Isles to Scandinavia. So I was looking through this book, and there really are some beautiful, I mean, what would you not make in here? Look at that. I mean, so pretty. All different skill levels. It is color work. Well, most of it. Here's one that's not, but it's cables. But I like to look at books just to look at them. And there's beautiful Scandinavian scenery. There's blankets and pillows and scarves. But this is what I fell in love with. And I thought, this is it. This is what you're going to do. And it was neat because I read the story, and if it's okay, I'm going to read it to you guys. And it's called The Ode to Marit Selbu Mittens. Now, I probably didn't pronounce that right, especially, I do have Scandinavian watchers, so, which I'm pretty excited about. In 1857, Marit Emstat of Selbu, Norway, did something out of the ordinary. Using 2 different colors of fiber, she created a detailed rose design on mittens knit for her and her sisters to wear to church. This new way of knitting earned Marit the title of the Mother of Two-Color Knitting. This pattern was designed with simplicity in mind while staying true to the traditional aspects of Selbu mittens. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Selbu. Intricate color work showcases the Selbu rose, the unique thumb gusset, and the side bands. So I thought it was really neat, so I want to do an ode to Marit Selbu mittens as well. So you can see the roses on here. That's what they're talking about. So I finally started them. The only problem is that they do take a little more concentration, so I'm having a little bit of a struggle doing it at my mom's house for that reason. Because it's not always, she's not demanding by any means. No, she's very, very gracious. But sometimes I sit down and then I have to get up, and I sit down and I have to get up. So I do have this little chart. I don't know if you guys have these. Sorry, I'm trying to find my way here. I picked up this at My Sister Knits, which is a local yarn shop here. And it is a little magnetic board by Coco Knits. And it was one of those times that I went in, and I like to support our local yarn shop. So sometimes I don't want to buy yarn, and I didn't really know what I wanted to buy. And I saw this little case, and it's a pattern holder, but also it's wonderful for keeping your place. So you hang on to you put those on to hold your pattern on. So it has little magnets. It's a super, super strong magnetic board. And then it has, like this is also magnetic, and it came with quite a few things. You can put your stitch markers on there. It had a gauge. I think this might have been separate, but it had a little needle gauge and ruler. Has a ruler. Where did I put the ruler? It has a ruler. And all of these things attach. But it helps you track your pattern. So as you're going up your chart, you can track it. So I don't know what I did before this. I think probably Post-it notes, not so fun. And then it sits on the table. So you can set it up like this. And then when you're done, you just fold it up, and it's super thin. But it's really nice for holding your pattern and traveling, if you're traveling, to keep your pattern on your lap. But I love this. So I am on the way to my mittens, and let me show them to you. And I thought it called for Cascade 220 non-superwash yarn. But I thought, you have to use a Scandinavian yarn. So I went to another local yarn shop here that carries Sandnes garn. And I got the Peer Gynt. I think that's what it's called. It's Loopy U, by the way, is the name of the yarn shop I got this at. And I wanted to pick colors that were similar to the picture. So these are my colors. And I can make the mitts with just 2 balls of yarn. And I think they're $8 a piece. This is really well-priced yarn. But this is on as far as I've gotten, not very far. But I'm on my way, and I'm pretty excited about them. I did pick up the cutest needle stoppers. How cute are these? We are the Knitty Kats. We're the Knitty Kats Podcast. So I love these, and then I also have a little cat progress keeper. So I'm excited about those. I hope to have a little more time It's been a little bit hectic trying to figure all of this out with my mother, and we have it figured out. So that's that. And thank you again for all of you. I cannot believe how many people wrote in and were praying for my mom, and she's in a good place right now, as good as can be expected. Obviously, you never want to say goodbye to your mom. It's weird when you think about your mom, because I was telling someone yesterday, I said, you're never ready to lose your mom. And that's what I was telling her. She's like, honey, I'm just worried about you and your sister. And I said, Mom, don't worry about us. And I said, because we're sad. But I said, you're never ready to be without your mom. And I told her, I said, you are still sad about Graham. And she's been gone for 20 years, not quite 20 years. Almost like 18 years my grandmother's been gone. And I said, you still miss her. You're so excited to be with her. And I said, we will miss you till the day we're reunited with you as well. Because when you think about it, you've never existed. I've never existed, never had a breath on this earth without my mom or without your dad. And so when you lose them, wow, you're not ready. You're never ready. So that's that situation. Thank you very, very much for writing in. I really appreciate it. The next thing I wanted to do was go through the comments, and the comments about my dyeing, which was great. I learned so much. So number one, someone wrote in and said, do not put anything you've done with iron mordant down the drain. You're not supposed to dispose of it down the drain. I did not know that. I do now. I'm careful about those things because I appreciate water. We have great water here, but I am careful what I drink, so I won't put that down the drain anymore. The other thing is, not as I should have been using gloves, and I knew that, so I will use gloves next time. I also had someone comment because I had said that I hadn't had great luck with the turmeric. You can see how it faded. That's the inside of the turmeric. She said that you can use baking soda to set it in, and also Epsom salts. So, good tip. I need to research that because I don't know how much or when you put it in. The next thing that someone commented on was the felting. And I had probably 5 people comment on the felting. So apparently, you can also, I understood that you could only felt the yarn from agitation and heat. Not so. Apparently you can shock the yarn right into agitation. Shock the yarn right into felting. And what she meant by that was that you can, I told you before that I didn't wait to let it cool down. So after it's heated, I do know that you're supposed to let it just cool naturally. I'm very impatient, so I need to grow some patience or find some patience, because apparently by just taking it right into cold water, you can felt it by shocking it. That is a good thing to know. I won't do that anymore. Although I did think back, and the one that I felted was the yellow yarn, and I had let that cool overnight. So I'm still really careful, but it can felt probably the longer you cool it. I've never had the Kool-Aid felt because you don't put it in very long and then there's nothing left in the water. So thank you for those tips. And corrections. Like I said, I have thick skin. You can tell me and correct me and teach me, and I will pass it on. So thank you. Just be kind. I am gathering marigolds right now. I have a neighbor right across the road, and their whole front garden is full of marigolds. So I want to text them and ask them when we have the first freeze, which I thought was going to be last night, but it wasn't. Can I please come pick their marigolds? Because I have not had great success with marigolds, and Shirley at Lambspun in Fort Collins here, who does a ton of dyeing in her yarn shop, said you just need a ton of them. You need a ton of marigolds. So I'm going to have a ton, and I'm going to do it. So maybe that'll be my next plant dyeing episode, is marigolds. Okay, so that's the comments. I wanted to mention some podcasters that I found, and I think it's something that I want to make as a permanent part of my podcast. I like watching podcasts, and some of them I really enjoy, and I like finding new ones, just like you do. So I want to share what I have found with you. And one of the podcasters I found is called A Lovely Yarn, and her name is Amber. And she just has a great voice and a great demeanor, and it sounds like she lives in a beautiful area of Pennsylvania. I think she podcasts every other week, and so she has a lot. But the one that I'm going to link you to is one that I watched in August, and it was Travel Knits. And she went through, and it's a lot of work to do this, so thank you, Amber, to find patterns for people. And she listed and linked, I don't know, maybe 10 patterns that you could take in the car that were kind of quick knits or easy knits to knit in the car, and many of them were free. So I want to link that, and you guys need to go check that episode out as well as her other ones, because she's really great to watch, and her daughter's on there. Again, a gracious relationship with her daughter, as I mentioned with Diane and Katie of these, I want to say the Fruitful Hands. I like that. I like the interaction. I can't even get my sister on here, let alone my daughter. So they're lucky that they get to have family members on their podcasts. But anyway, check out Amber of A Lovely Yarn, and I will link that episode. The other one that I found is her name is Beth McDonald Stone, and she is a recently retired interior designer and pattern designer. And she lives in Bermuda. And I thought that was really cool. So she only has 2 episodes out, but I've enjoyed both of them. And the last one, which I watched last Sunday, talked about the history of how her family came to Bermuda. And they've been there since the 1800s. My goodness sakes. And how they got there. And I don't want to ruin it. You need to go watch it. I'll link that episode. But that was really good too. So Beth McDonald Stone. And her patterns are beautiful. I can't wait to buy a couple of her patterns. So those were great. The next thing I want to do is share cats. I've had so many people, well, 4 people, to send me their cat pictures. And I want to read it to make sure that I get them straight. But I'm going to list them for you. Oh, please tell me I did them. Okay, yes, I did. So one of them was Sandra of Nova Scotia, and her cat's name was Pippin. Now, Pippin is this beautiful orange tabby. I have a soft spot for orange tabbies. And Pippin was pretty young but has passed away. But the pictures are beautiful, so enjoy them, because she really does have had a beautiful cat, and she's heartbroken. So enjoy Pippin. The next one is from Karen Leib. And Karen, I know personally. She lives in the area. And her daughter works for me, her beautiful daughter Katie. And Karen is an avid sock knitter. Now, I hear about all of Karen's socks because she likes to knit socks. In fact, Katie jokes, my mom has a closet full of socks. That's all she knits is socks. Well, I happen to know that Karen has knit a couple sweaters for Katie and does knit other things, but I think she does like socks. Katie does talk about your socks. And she also knit a sweater for her other daughter's cat named Ollie. And I said, oh, please send me a picture. And it is a beautiful sweater, a colorwork sweater for the cat. So here's a picture of Ollie, and she's sitting on the other sibling's sweater. So it's a beautiful sweater. Nice job, Karen. And then I have JW66RN, and she sent me a picture of her 2 rescue siblings, Boris and Natasha. So here are these beautiful cats, Bora and Natasha. They are beautiful. And then we have the great Sal from Una. Sal has been featured on previous episodes because of his beautiful sweaters that Una makes for him. Una needs these sweaters, or not Una, Sal needs the sweaters because they comfort him. He has some sort of a anxiety or something that he gets anxious, and he loves his sweaters. They kind of cuddle him. And so Una sent me some pictures of Sal and his Sweet 16 photo shoot, and she said, pick the one that you like the best. No, I'm putting them all up because they're so good. He had a I think it's a Sweet 16 party. She called it Sweet 16. And it was a duck themed party. And so I have to put them all up because they are so cute. So thank you for sending them. I'm happy to feature anything that you guys want to send me because I want this to be our podcast, not just my podcast. It's our podcast. So I like you participating and commenting, and I really appreciate it. Okay, what else did I need to tell you? I wanted to tell you what I have up next, and I wanted, oh, yes, no, wait. My acquisitions are up next. That's what I wanted to do. I don't have a ton, but I have enough. I've mentioned before that I have a little bit of a, hello, my name is Julie, and I have a needle addiction. I do, I love needles. And I'm slowly but surely finding the ones that I like best. And I always think, well, I will give this set away once I get some new, if I order these, if I get these, if I buy these. I never do, because I like all of them for different reasons. I started with the Knit Picks the basic wooden set. I actually got them from, I think I talked about it in my first episode. Julie at My Sister Knits had donated them. And I bid on the donation, and I won them at a breast cancer fundraiser, and I didn't even knit at the time. But I can't let go of those because I still use them. I like them very much. And then I'll do a whole needle review sometime. I'm not going to go into that now. But anyway, what I bought this time were the Carbons. It's the starter set. And I bought this set because I don't have interchangeable US 3. Oh, is it? Yeah, it's US 3.25. So it can be I guess the US 3 can be 3.5 or 3.25. All my sets start at the 3.5. And so I didn't have them. Now I probably could have used the 3.5, but I wanted 3.25, and I wanted an interchangeable set, and they had them. So they are pretty cool. My favorites, I think, are the Zings, but these are pretty cool too. So I think I have it wrong. I'm probably telling you the wrong information. Now that I put my glasses on, oh my gosh. Yes, no, that's right. So US 3 can be the 3.25 or a 3.5. And I needed the 3.25 for this. And because when I ripped out, I thought, just get the needles and do it right. So I'm doing it on the right needle. But it also came with one even smaller. It was a US 2.5, which is a 3 millimeter. So I'll use them. And again, they're nice. They are not too sharp on the end, because that is an issue for me, going right through my finger. And I mean, I'm not going to put those through my finger. So even going smaller, that'll be great. I'm pretty excited about them. They were my birthday present to myself. Oh, by the way, you guys, I had the best birthday. My birthday was yesterday. I had the best birthday, my 60th birthday. It was the best birthday I can remember since I was a child, I'm sure. Just, nothing grand. It wasn't grand. It started off, my husband rolled over in the morning and gave me a big birthday kiss and hug and wished me happy birthday. I come down and he had flowers. And then I got to work, and everyone's like, don't go in the break room. And I went, so then right before we opened, I went in the break room, and they had the most beautiful spread of some tea and tea sandwiches, cucumber and cheese sandwiches. They had peanut butter and jelly, little tea sandwiches. They had all kinds of dips and scones and macaroons and little pastries. I know I'm not saying everything because it was so good. Oh, deviled eggs. I mean, the spread went on for 5 feet. I couldn't believe it. And I got the most beautiful little kitty sweater from them. I was blown away. I have the best people on the planet working with me, I tell you. Every day I'm grateful for these people. They are amazing. So anyway, they did that. My sister for my mom got me some flowers. And then when I went to stay with my mom yesterday afternoon, my mom remembered, because my sister coached her, and she looked at me and said, oh, happy birthday. And I said, oh my gosh, Mom, thank you. And so I had an afternoon with her, which is beautiful. I came home and my husband had my daughter came to work, and I had already left, unfortunately, and she brought me flowers and coffee. I'd already gone, so I said, Bella, I'm gonna put it in the refrigerator and warm it up. So I'm having it this morning, and she brought me flowers and fresh pomegranate seeds, or peeled pomegranate, and my husband made a beautiful dinner and a cake. And I mean, my house looks like a flower shop. I had friends drop gifts off. I've never had a birthday like this, and it was nothing grand. It was just beautiful gestures. And so I had a great birthday, and I loved being able to spend it with my mom and my my coffee. This coffee, you guys, is from the Colorado Coffee Company, if you haven't been. And they make a drink called the Honeybee, and this is 4 shots of espresso and honey and cinnamon. It's the best. So I did rewarm it, and it's yummy. So thank you, everyone. It was so good. But this is what I bought myself. And I'm also ordering a bag from Woolen Works Designs. I will have that for you next time. She's custom making me a bag. So Woolen Works Designs made this bag. And what I want is just a little bit bigger bag for a sweater. But I love their designs, and I'll talk more about it later when I get my custom made bag from Barb, Amy, and Aaron. They are amazing. Woolen Works Designs. I'll link it. Check them out. They're amazing. But I think she's going to offer something next time, so it's very good. All right, so anyway, I have my needles. Happy to have them. I did a stash busting. I told you last time that I had people that I follow on Instagram, and this is from Amy Spar, and she did a stash busting. Now, I need to do a stash busting, but I can't seem to part with any of my yarn. But she must have a connection, and I should ask her and reach out what her connection is with Plucky Knitter, because she has more Plucky Knitter yarn than I've ever seen. So I kept looking at it. It kept popping up on my Instagram, and I'm like, don't buy it, don't buy it, don't buy it. And then my sister, she sneaks behind my back and orders things. Like, she'll order things from Knitty McPurley, or we don't do a lot of online shopping, but Knitty McPurley she does. We do a lot because we love her. And she'll go to My Sister Knits or Lamb Spun Without Me or Loopy You, and I'm like, why? And I think it's because she's embarrassed that she buys a lot of yarn. But so she did the same thing. She just helped Amy bust her stash, and then I was mad. So I thought, I'm doing it. So I got these colors. And I got the ones that, this is merino and cashmere. Oh my gosh, seriously, look at that color. So, and then this one, I stared at a lot. And another orange, but I didn't want to do single ply. So I think there's enough in this. This is fingering. I am going to do, it's 510 yards, and it's mohair and silk and merino. I think I might do a ranunculus. Just make it short. This one is cashmere. No, it's silk and yak and merino. And I want to make my husband a hat out of this. It'll be so warm. My husband doesn't have hair. So with his crazy adventuring, he needs warm things. He's also on search and rescue. So he retired last year and had been training for 6 months already with search and rescue. And he does amazing things. He's found 2 people. He found a lost autistic boy by himself. He's the one who found him in the middle of the night, and it was snowing, and the young boy didn't have a coat. And oh my gosh, he goes out and does these things, and it's great. And then he found these 3 girls that were up in the mountains that were lost and they had clothes, but shorts and t-shirts, and that's not how you spend the night in the mountains. But he found 2 of them. The 2 that were lost. And so he does good things. So he is on search and rescue both for our county and also for Rocky Mountain National Park. He's a backup for them. So he needs warm clothes, and he asked for another hat and also more socks. He likes the wool socks. But this is the other one I got, and this one is merino and cashmere. Beautiful. So thank you, Amy. And she sent me a little stitch marker, and that was my acquisition from her. It's kind of fun that people do stash busting for them and for me. The other thing I got, this just arrived. This is from Knitty McPurley, and I'm kind of upset with her because this is her new balm. And for those of you that were part of my giveaway, you all got a balm. You got the summer one, which was citrus and rhubarb. This one is cardamom. It's called flannel, I think. Red flannel. And it's cardamom, which is my favorite scent, cloves. I can't describe this to you. And so I'm kind of mad because she went on, and her shop opened at noon last Friday. And my sister and I, we were working, and we just didn't have time. So we took a break at about 3 o'clock and thought, let's get those kits that she put together and the hand balm. They were sold out. In 3 hours, she sold out. So I wasn't very happy. I messaged her this morning, please make some more balm, because I like the little tin, and it just is, it's divine. It is so good. She has to make them. Maybe if you guys put enough pressure on her, she'll make some more. But it sold out in 3 hours. So Devin, make more. Have more in your shop. Let us pre-order something. We're starving. If you haven't watched her podcast, it's a good one too. But anyway, she also has this Surrey silk. And this one I got in Thistle. So I did get a small hand balm and this. And because she put out a pattern that my sister bought. And I went over this morning to grab it. But I can't think of it. I'll have to put it up. But anyway, it takes one skein of this. And so I'm going to make this. But it was so cute because she could make it. She made it as a cowl. And it's stretched enough she could put it as a little shrug. And so I thought over a black dress, it would be very dressy and pretty. Or you could double it up and wear it in the winter time. So check that out. I will put a link to that. But Devin, please make more. I need a tin. And I think that's all my acquisitions, you guys. I wish I could find that pattern. I thought I had brought it out. Ooh, the sun went behind a cloud, so I'm not squinting. Let's see, what else? Oh, up next, I think I'm going to make, to continue my vest, my vest obsession, I think I'm going to make another vest. And I wanted to use the yarn that I made in my last episode that I dyed with the mordant, the iron mordant, the rabbit brush iron mordant. It's that beautiful olive. I have 3 skeins that match, and so that would be about 660 yards. And there were a couple patterns that popped up, and it seems to be a little bit of a trend. One's called the Manhattan, and I think I saw that on 2 different episodes. One on the Lovely Hands, Diana had made it, and someone else made the same one. And there's a trend of vests that have really long hems, ribbed hems. I'm going to put up a couple pictures. I have to go through and find them. They're all saved on my Ravelry. But I want to make that. I think that's what I'm going to make, because they did have an option without the turtleneck, which I know I have enough yarn to do, and I'm not crazy about the turtleneck. But I think an open neck vest, and it's kind of this blousey. Anyway, you've seen it. You're looking at a picture right now. Hopefully I'll put it up. So that's what I have next after I get done with these things. I also am a little bit proud of myself because I have started a journal, and I bought this last year. Well, actually 2 years ago. And I'm keeping track of what I'm making, which I've never done before. And I don't know how good of a job I'm doing, but I am putting a scrap of the yarn and the yarn that I used. This one I held double, and some just scratchy notes, but at least I have a couple things that I'd like to go back and add link to the sleeves on, but I don't remember what I used, and I don't want to figure it out. But I have, like, here's my Noro vest. So I haven't done everything, but I've done a lot of things. So I'm very proud of myself. The other thing that I did is I had started already a dyeing notebook. And I told someone I was going to, if they wanted, I would send them the pictures of my Kool-Aid experiment. Here's all the Kool-Aid. Look how pretty those yarns are. And how many packs I used. Look at these. So I have all these colors. Aren't they pretty? This turquoise is the blue raspberry. I don't know which one I like the most. They are all so pretty. And then here's some mixes that I did. But I have started that, so I am going to try and keep track. It is so against my personality to do so, but people have asked me, how did you make that? Did you use a pattern for your bag? No, I didn't. And I didn't write it down. So I'm getting better. I will do that for you guys. I think that's all I have, and the sun's back out. I hope I haven't been squinting the whole time. I can't even see. I can't see myself because it's very bright out here. But I'm off to, the reason I had a couple minutes this morning was I'm waiting for my daughter. I usually work on Saturday mornings. I'm not working this Saturday morning because I'm off to my son's parents' weekend. My husband's doing a medical training for his search and rescue, so he can't go. But my son's a second-year student at University of Colorado Boulder. And last year, he hadn't decided last January, and we had already planned our trip to Rhinebeck, which was this weekend last year. And so we didn't go to his parents' weekend. We flew my daughter in from her university in Phoenix to come up and go to his parents' weekend, but they just ate out a lot. And this year, Oliver hasn't signed up for a single thing, so it's actually been Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Today's Saturday, and I said, you know what? Why, Daddy's training, so why don't Bella and I just come down and take you to dinner and go food shopping or whatever he wants? And he said, that's great. I'm sure we all have bets on where we'll go because he is very, very fit, my son, and is very aware of what he puts in his body as far as food. And so he loves Chipotle. He thinks it's the best value and the healthiest food that you can eat out. So I said, I put $10 on Chipotle, and I think everyone else thought that too. So Bella and I am waiting for her to get back from her little job at Colorado Coffee, and we're gonna head down there. That's why I had a couple extra hours, and it was beautiful, so I thought I'm gonna film. So I put the sweater on and thought, I'm gonna go outside and try and film an episode because I don't know what my time is gonna be like for the next couple weeks. Next week, you guys, or not next week, next time, I'm gonna do a bag review. I thought it would be kind of fun to show you different kinds of knitting bags, the kind of knitting bags I have. My sister has made me probably some cool bags, but they're probably the ones that I use the most and the size that I use the most, and I think that's important. But I like different bags for different things, so I'm going to show you my knitting bag, so that'll be kind of fun. And I also will have my custom birthday bag from Barb, Erin, and Amy at Woolen Works Designs. I saw a combination of things I like, and I reached out to her and I said, is there any way that you would make me this fabric in this design and change this a little bit? And of course they're like, yes. I don't know if they do that for everyone, but I met them at a retreat in January, and they are amazing people. It's a mom, Barb, and then the daughter, Erin, and the daughter-in-law, Amy. They all knit, they all sew, they're just really creative, and I'm really excited to get my bag. So as soon as I email her the specifics, then she said she'd make it for me. And next time I'll have it and I'll show you. But I'll probably be done with my sweater, but it's okay. I'll have a new sweater, I'm sure. So thank you for joining me. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for your comments and your prayers. Phew, what a whirlwind I've had, huh? And I just appreciate our community. It's a beautiful community. Thank you, and until next time, I'll see you soon.